Hi, and welcome to Design It with Tammy Gibbs. I'm Tammy, and I'm glad you decided to join me for this video. This is a little different video. I'm normally doing a lot of design, and today I want to talk to you about your business. So, if you are selling on Etsy or really any other platform, but I sell on Etsy. So, I created just a little something that I wanted to show you and kind of show you how you can create one of those for yourself. There's lots of different ways. You can do a spreadsheet, you can do a Google Doc. You can keep up with things, but I kind of wanted to talk to you about the why behind why you want to do this, even if you think you're not really, even if you're not really selling a lot right now. And we know as we get started that it takes a while to build up your shop. You need to get a lot of product in your shop. I'm not really a business coach in that respect, but I do have a marketing background. In the real world, my experience is basically for around 12 or 13, well, longer than that. I created magazines, so I sold ads, created ads, layout, graphic designer, blah, blah. Um, I've run a lot of companies, a lot of businesses. I had a balloon and gift basket business early on. I moved into the marketing realm when I created some local magazines from the ground up. At one time, I was publishing 4 or 5 a month, different ones, and they ranged anywhere from a more like a local news type little mini mag to something that was like 48 pages a month. That it actually wasn't very many. And I also published one that was like a um, more of a regional, it was called the Regional Karting Connection. So it was go-karts. So they were various things. So anyway, I also am a published romance author, and my books are available on Amazon. You probably did not know that about me. I write gothic time travel, and I have some other nonfiction books. I'm telling you all of this to tell you that I have some experience in the marketing realm online. And so every business is a little bit different. And with Etsy, I had to start all over. To be honest, it had been a long time since I had been in the online space, and I have had to get acquainted with the way things are done now. I've had a lot of help along the way. I belong to a lot of groups that have been phenomenal. I'm in I have some design coaches and things like that, or business coaches that I'm in their groups, and so they're great. We'll talk about those another time. But these are some simple things and ways that you can get started. My Etsy store has finally started getting a bit of momentum, and at the moment, I'm having daily sales, or beginning to have very consistent daily sales, which is awesome. And I wanted to share with you a couple of the things that have worked for me. Obviously, have created in the space of um, clip art in my shop. I have quite a few other things. I have invitations, they've done well. And what I want you to do is start organizing and thinking from a different perspective. So even if you're not having consistent sales, go ahead and formulate a way to track what sales you are having, because those are going to help you to identify things that you can do to improve your traffic. Because a lot of Etsy sellers I have found, and their shops are awesome, they're amazing, but it's the same thing with um, novels and Amazon. It doesn't matter how good your book is. If people don't know it's there and can't find it, then you're not going to sell any books. So it's very highly competitive in all of these marketplaces, and that's one very simple concept that I want you to understand. So if you're not getting traffic, and I know SEO is important and we can learn SEO and we can do that, and that's great. Everybody has that ability to help themselves um, create trending, low competition products. That's a no-brainer. Do that. Learn SEO. Try to make sure your tags and titles are good. That's another no-brainer. But even when we're doing all of those things, there's still going to be that competition factor that sometimes it takes a long, long time to overcome. So, what I want you to do is start thinking outside the box and start thinking about ways that you can drive traffic into your store to give it a kickstart. Because what I discovered was when I put out the AI artist playbook, which has been a phenomenal, I feel like already a success. It's a success because not only is it something that is selling for me, but it's also something that is definitely transforming. The purpose is being fulfilled in other people's business. It's helping them make better art, better prompts. Even people with very little experience are now being able to understand prompts better and how to create them to create the art that they want to. So I feel like that's a huge success. That the 5-star reviews that are coming in, all of the text that are messenger messages that I'm getting, the comments on post are that it's that people love it. And to me, that is as much of a success as the any monetary gain. I know that sounds crazy. But to me, that's just makes it that's like the Cool Whip on top is the fact that it's doing what it should do for people and it's helping you. And in the meantime, it's also helping my store and my business. So this worked. This whole concept worked the same when I released my very first fiction novel. Totally unknown person. But within a few months, my first novel became a best-selling time travel gothic romance. It spent 18 months on the category bestsellers list for gothic and for time travel. That is almost unheard of. It garnered the first spot, so it was a number one bestseller within the gothic romance category. And it stayed in that top 100 for those two categories for 18 consecutive months. It didn't get there because I just put it out there and people knew where it was. It was because I worked on the sidelines. I didn't have, a ton of money behind, from a big, huge publishing company that was pushing it and putting a lot of money behind it. Many authors do. The very best-selling producers, are going to get a huge budget for that, but most normal people don't, which means that to get seen, you have to do a little work on your own as an author. And since I came at it from a marketing perspective anyway, I was able to do that very successfully, surprisingly, because I had no idea. I had never marketed a book before, but I got out and I drove traffic. I let people know about the book in a less competitive environment. The thing about it is that, let's just say, for instance, okay, there's tons of competition on Etsy for your particular type of product. And what you need to understand is that when you go outside of Etsy and you show your product or you find a creative way to introduce your product, this does not mean going in and spamming groups. It doesn't mean that. It means be creative. If you have an Instagram, be creative on how you deliver that product and how you get it out there. Put some time into Pinterest. Put some time into create your own group if you have a valid reason and something important that you could deliver to people or contribute to people, make your own group. And then don't spam them either. Build and give. The key is giving more than you ever get. I try to do that in my group. I try to do that on YouTube. Yes, I mention it. All my videos are going to say, hey, check down in the bottom because, hey, that makes it where I can convince my husband to keep letting me make videos that I'm not getting paid for, when I could be making money some other way to provide, for our family. But I try to do it in a way where it's definitely still delivering way more that you're not paying for. And so that's kind of what I'm doing with this video. I want to give back and just get you outside the Etsy ecosystem because they do have a vehicle and you will pay less fees if you drive your traffic to your store. So think about your Etsy store just like a brick and mortar store. If you think about your Etsy store as not fully dependent on the Etsy traffic, which is great. It's wonderful that you can set up your store in the Etsy world on a street in Etsy and that occasionally you're going to get those people that are going to find you there that, because you have good tags and you have all this other stuff. But I promise you that if you can drive traffic there yourself, they're going straight to your store and they're not in a search where all these other competing items are there. Now, yes, I know that Etsy sometimes will show like other products on your page and stuff. We're not going to get into that. But if you drive them there specifically, that's like having a billboard everywhere that you mention or you can find in the regular internet online environment is like having a billboard saying, go to my store, I do this. So think creatively. Creativity is intelligence having fun. It doesn't have to be a chore or a job. You're already in a creative business if you're doing digital products and you're selling in that realm. So you want to make sure that you are utilizing all the opportunities to drive traffic to your store. What's going to happen there is make sure number one that you have lots of products in your store before you start doing this because the worst thing you can do is drive that traffic to a store that doesn't have a banner, that doesn't have all the areas filled out so that people feel like you're a legitimate space. What do you do when you go to a business and you walk in and it looks like they're going out of business because they have no inventory on the shelves? There's no one out there to greet you because they're in the back somewhere and you walk in the door and it dings and there's nobody to be seen because they're back there eating something and there's one employee there. You're probably not going to buy anything there. So having a full store for them to look at increases your opportunity to actually sell them something before they leave out the door again. Okay? So that's where I want you to be thinking. I also want you to understand that by doing your banner, having it look good, having everything ordered and in categories where people can easily find what they're looking for. Making sure everything looks nice is only going to improve your odds of selling something when they do come. So make sure your store is ready. And then when it's ready and you think you have enough products in there, I think around 200 and something products now, I believe. I'm adding to that constantly. I started seeing a little momentum when I got 100 products, and I've seen way more since I've gotten 200 and above. There is a lot to be said for having more products, as long as they're good products. Having more products and inventory is definitely going to increase your odds of hitting on a product that's going to just connect with your buyers and your people. And if you can ever get one product to do that, then that's going to help drive people into your store. One thing I have discovered is as I drove traffic in for my AI playbook, because I used Etsy more like a brick and mortar store. It's a location that then I went out and I marketed the AI playbook and started driving traffic there. So the first few days, most of the traffic I was driving. But after about a week or so after launch, I began to see, number one, it increased my non-playbook sales because Etsy is pushing it out more, because the more traffic I drew in and more sales I made, the more the algorithm began to recognize my store as somewhere that they thought it was legitimate to send their buyers into. So I believe that it is helping my SEO, it's helping my exposure and visibility on the Etsy ecosystem, the platform. So that's what you really want to do is you want to jumpstart your visibility on Etsy. And that is one of the best ways to do it, is to drive some traffic in there and get some sales. So what does that mean exactly? Well, there's a couple of ways you can do that. If you don't really have a product like the one I have, which who would have even thought that that would have also driven my sales of invitations has picked up, my sales of my clip art have picked up. Everything has picked up since the playbook because I drove more traffic. Etsy's now pushing it out, and people that are looking for other items are finding it. So think about it this way. If you want to have a loss leader or something like that that you want to do a special coupon code for, then go out and say, hey, I've got this, it's on sale, or, whatever. Maybe you're not going to make a lot on it, but you want to drive traffic to your store. So you put the link and you drive it. You're going to get a little bit back on your fees if the person that comes in to the store from your link goes in and buys something there, then you're going to get a portion of those fees back. It's discounted because you drove the traffic there, because they want you to drive traffic to their business. You're helping pull people onto the platform. And I know there is an argument that, oh, why do you want to drive traffic to Etsy? Because why don't you drive traffic to your own website? Well, this is my thoughts on that. Having been in business for most of my life and been very entrepreneurial, there are some battles I don't want to do. Number one, Etsy collects sales tax, and I don't want to deal with sales tax right now. I'm just not in that frame of mind. So I like that it collects all those taxes and submits them for me without me having to do that paperwork that would take a lot of time. So if they make a little on the fees, hey, that's way cheaper than my time to sit there and deal with all that is. Another thing is, yes, I agree. I am putting a lot of emphasis on Etsy. If Etsy goes bust, if Etsy becomes an environment where I can't, work in that ecosystem anymore, then I am putting a lot into that. But I'm also developing other ways to communicate with my buyers. And you can do that through your PDFs, where your delivery mechanisms and how you communicate after the sale. Like if somebody's going to download something, having a download page that is a PDF, and encouraging them to join your group, or whatever, sign up for a newsletter, try to stay in touch with those people that are your customers in a way that is, of course, legal to you inside the ecosystem. Make sure you're not breaking any rules. But that way, if something does happen, you can, the people are already, if they're buying from you, then they're more likely to follow you somewhere. But in the meantime, if I went and set up a website and I just had pay with PayPal or whatever, it's going to be a lot harder for me to get reputation built up because I know personally that I will buy from Amazon or Etsy or someplace like that that I feel like is a big and established business way quicker than I'm going to go to your website and order off your website if I don't know you. I don't trust you. And there are so many scams out there. I'm not giving that information. I'm not even real comfortable doing PayPal or something like that to you. I'm definitely not using my credit card there. So you do have that trust and that reputation that Etsy or eBay or Amazon have that's going to be really helpful for you when you're trying to launch your business. Now, once you get your business established and if you want to take it off of Etsy and you think people are going to follow you, then by all means, that would be a way to go. But most of us in this space, trying to get started, trying to build and establish our businesses, are going to need that extra that we can potentially garner from Etsy's customer base because it's already there. So that's why that platform was attractive to me. Let me just say a bit about fees. I promise you that fees only are important to you now when you're not selling a lot. Trust me, I want my fees that I'm paying Etsy to be a lot because that means I've sold a lot. So as long as you're making sure that your profit is built in, you should not be worrying about, the percentage of it because their percentage is very industry realistic. If you have your own website, you're going to pay for that privilege. You're going to have expenses on design. You're going to have expenses on your hosting and your, how much traffic it can hold and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to have those fees. On top of that, you're going to still have a payment processor fee. So by comparison with what working on Etsy allows you to do and free up your time to create more products because you have less time invested in the actual business side of doing the taxes and doing the sales tax and the VATs and all the other stuff that they keep up with. So, I've got on here, if you build it, they will come, and that's from Field of Dreams and not the movie in 1989. So what I wanted to do, in addition to telling you some of these things and some of my experience that this, I don't know, February was just amazing, since the launch and what it has done and how it actually kickstarted. And since that has been my experience with previous things, like with my book, with my first novel, I had that same experience. When you are able to kickstart your visibility, as long as you've got good products, it can make a world of difference. So I hope that this video is going to help you think outside the box and take a pause, because the thing about it is when you pause and spend time developing these plans and these tools that can help you in this process, you're making an investment in your future and in your future paycheck. So it's worth taking an hour or two, even an hour or two for a week. Make sure that you're investing the same amount of time in that business part of it and the marketing part of it that you are in developing your product, because it doesn't matter how full your store is. If you're not going to market it and you're just going to sit there and wait on it to organically happen, which it can, and organic is good. Organic exposure is awesome, and part of this is not go out and pay a bunch for ads. I'm not saying that. I'm saying utilize all those things, the Pinterest, the Instagram, the Facebook. Look for creative ways to introduce your products and yourself to the public and to your buyers. know who they are, where they're at, be willing to help them, start creating a newsletter or, an email list. And I mean, you don't really have to do a lot for an email. I mean, I don't have an email list yet. I'm in the process of creating one I'm not going to bombard people with it. But I'm beginning to have people ask me, do you have something I can sign up for? I want to know when you release new products. I want to know this. So I feel like it's the time now. But when I first started, if I'd really realized it, I probably would have already had one by now. But we had a lot going on last year with the hurricane and with me being sick, with kidney stones and some other personal stuff going on. So I really was not able to jumpstart my business quite as quickly. Once 2025 rolled over and things settled down a little bit, I was able in January to focus and then in February implement. And so it worked. And yes, I do have a very unusual product that I think helped, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out and find a similar product that you think is going to be sort of um, an anchor product for your store. And, go in your store. You probably already have a product that would have that capability. You just aren't you're competing right now for the traffic inside of Etsy, and that is highly competitive. So go out where there's not as much competition and bring those people in. It's just a concept that can work over and over again, and it's something that doesn't have to cost you a whole lot of money. For instance, okay, so let's just say that perhaps you're spending some money in ads on Etsy. And that's good. I mean, that can work. But what if you could bring those people in or maybe do a little small ad on Facebook or something, just a small one? Research the cost and what can be accomplished, and definitely start with things that don't cost any money. So look for places that'll allow you to post things, or maybe have a promotional weekend, or that they allow you to post in the groups. Be involved, because I found that, for one thing, one of the things that I did was I posted a lot of my art in some groups and that I belonged to. There was no ad, there was no anything. That's one of the ways that people knew about me. So it was about my art, it was about how I produced the art, and it got their attention. And from that, I've sold to people who don't create art, that are creators that purchase, for their art, which is part of my customer base. And so I made them aware. So that's another way, is to go out and find opportunities to get your stuff in front of people. And then naturally, if they're good, then you're going to start getting attention for that. And then people are going to seek you out. I have people all the time that message me and say, please send me the link to your store, because they saw something I designed and they can't find it or whatever. And so they seek me out. So I hope that this video is going to help you. I have one more thing I want to share with you and kind of show you what I have done. Now, these numbers are not actual numbers. I just typed in some things just to show you how it works. Let me just slide down. I created this so that I could have something that I could keep up. Etsy is not very good to me with reports. So basically, once you start actually selling things consistently, it's a good thing for you to write down what day of the week and how many sales and what is selling. Then you can take this data after a week or after a couple of weeks or a month. You're going to begin to see some patterns, and you may see that, hey, okay, Wednesdays seem to be a lot slower and I don't sell as much, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I sell a lot or whatever. So you'll be able to see those patterns. What I want you to do is start also jotting down and making note, even if you're only selling a few items a month, jot down what happened and what you think the trigger that caused that sale. Was it just organically? People just found you on Etsy? Make a note of it. If you think that you did something, did you post about something? Did you share something? Where did you share it? What was the circumstances surrounding when you sold 3 things in one day? And then go and do those things again. If you identify what's working, then you can multiply that effort and you can multiply your results. So anyway, this is kind of what I set up. This is super simple. You can set it up yourself inside Canva. I did it in Canva. What I will do is when I use these, I, can download it as a PDF at the end of the month or whatever. You can have a different file or design or whatever for each week. However you want to structure it. But this is just a very simple thing. You could do this in a Google Sheets. You could do it, in a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. You could do it in whatever form you want to. I just set it up like this because I'm in Canva already all the time. And it was just easier just to do that and just flick over there. I can save it, I can star it and it'll be right there and I can just go in and out of it. So like I said, this is just me I did show, how you would fill it in and everything just for your benefit. So like I said, these aren't actual numbers. I haven't even, this is more just for example. And then, so I have this one, which is like a sales record. It has, because this would be like if you have an anchor product in your store, like if that's um, a pass, like an all access pass or something that, whatever's like your most expensive item or something that you want to track individually, then of course mine would be the playbook at this point because that's what I'm, is generating a lot of sales. So I have that there, but you could put anything you wanted to there. I have the days of the week here, the week of, so I can keep up with what week that was. And then, other would be anything other than your anchor product that you want to do. The total number here per, each day would go in this here. And then what revenue was there for the day. Now, this is not the revenue. This is the revenue including like before your fees are taken out. So, and then if you want to set up a little something like this is where you track what's sold. So let's just say, and again, like I said, I'm just kind of showing you how this would look. So here we have changed it and the days of the week are across the top so that you just have to put the numbers, and then down the side you can create like the different types, like, again, my anchor, I want to track it individually, but then invitations would be in a general, like how many invitations I'm selling, how many baby books, wall art, prompt keepers, also something I'm tracking, clip art, writing prompt for kids, whatever products you want to track, will be here, like invitations, clip art, the generalizations and stuff. But this will give me a bird's eye view for that week. What we're selling. Was it clip art that sold the most? Was it the playbook that sold the most? Was it a baby books that sold the most? Or was it the wall art? Whatever your products are, this will give you a bird's eye view on what's selling. And then maybe if it's selling really well and you begin to see a pattern of what is selling the most, then that's going to show you where to put your time. Because number one, if you're already selling invitations, that means that people are coming in to buy invitations and look at your invitations. So once they get in there, you increase your odds of selling them an invitation if you have a bigger variety of invitations. Even if they decide not to buy the one that you actually that they came in to look at, they may see a different one that they like as well. They may have multiple children and they may be buying an invitation for one, but they have another birthday, let's say in 2 months, and they may favorite a different invitation for, like, you've got a girl one that's selling now, but they came in to look and they see one that'll work for a boy, and they may want to favorite or, put that one in the cart for a future purchase. So think like that. Think like a business. Think about your inventory. Think about having the products that people are already buying, and the people that are already coming into your store. You already have those customers, so having more of what they're looking for is going to help you sell more. So, if it's clip art, then do more clip art. You know, you can break this down as specific as you want to. It would be wonderful if we had, and if you know that Etsy already has this, please let me know, but I can't find it. I can't see a really good breakdown that tells, I know that you can go and you can scroll down and you can see it'll tell you how many of this and how many of that, it does, in each different thing. But as far as being able to print that out and look at it, without having to scroll through two or 300 to 1,000 different listings to get that information, it's hard. So if you keep up with it a little at a time, then it's a lot easier than having to go back through 3 or 400 listings. Let me just tell you that. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you, and I hope it'll be helpful to all of you. Like I said, I don't really consider myself, up there with the high caliber Etsy coaches or anything like that. This is all just very simple and just from my experience with marketing and with, like I said, doing this and becoming a bestseller. So, the AI playbook actually became a bestseller, like, in like 3 or 4 days, and most of that came from the driving of the traffic kind of a thing. So I've done this a couple of times, so I know some of these processes and some of this works. It's worked before multiple times for me. So, I also was an eBay power seller years ago. I don't sell on eBay anymore, really. Um, Not doing the physical products like I'm doing the digital, but I did do that, and I was a power seller. So, I do have a little bit of experience in there, and I just wanted you to benefit from some of that because I know that it's easy to get very disheartened if you're not having successes. And I also know that Etsy is a big place with tons and tons of competition. And I know that most of the advice that people give is all mostly within the Etsy ecosystem and what you can do with your tags and your titles and your ads that you can run and all that kind of stuff. Most of the advice is going to be within that realm. Now, many do go out to Instagram and they go out to Pinterest and they do start doing that. I'm just telling you that you don't need to wait until you're already successful to start doing those things. You need to be doing those things now and finding out how you can drive your traffic. Because if you wait on Etsy to kick in for you, you're missing opportunities today that you could be utilizing. So definitely hope this helps. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this that are from that marketing perspective, and I will consider doing some of those along with the design aspects. Um, I I hope I haven't rambled too much. Unfortunately, that's just my personality. If you've been around me very long or watched any of my videos, you know it's something I just can't help. Sorry about that. You kind of have to take the good with the bad. I have great ideas. You just have to dig for them like treasure inside all of my stuff. But Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my channel. For those of you that are part of my groups, if you're not, the links to them are down in the description, along with a link to read more about my art, my AI artist playbook, um, about Artistly, which is the um, AI art platform that I use. There's a link to my affiliate link down there. Lots of other goodies. So be sure and subscribe. And like I said, like, share the videos and everything. Let me know in the comments if you got anything out of it, whatever. I already know if you want to tell me that I'm wordy. I know that already, unfortunately. If you want to tell me, anything like that, I probably already know, but you're welcome to tell me again. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that you learn something that's going to help transform your business and move you closer to your goals. And I'll just see you next time. Thank you for watching.